Howdy folks, welcome back to me, BSD Impulse, bringing you some more of gameplays on my channel. This happens to be GTA in the background, please enjoy it. But what I'm going to talk to you about is, to be honest, what I'm planning to do with my PC as such. And what I mean is, I was stuck on what graphics card I was going to upgrade to, and wasn't quite sure if I was going to go for the 960 to 970. At the time I was debating what I would do. The 980 was in around about the 400, almost £500 mark. However, the 980 is now, since the release of the TI, is down to around about the 400 mark. You can get some for around about 339, and some for around about 350 to 360 £, which is absolutely fantastic. And I just. The reason why I'm going for the GTX series is quite simple. Is I've seen the specs for the new R9 300 series, and to be honest, I'm not impressed. I am impressed with the Fury, but the 390, the 380, are just remakes of the 280 and the 290, with a little few things added on, but nothing done to the power consumption. Yes, it does have the passive fan system as GTX does, where it doesn't kick in until it goes to a certain temperature, then the fans suddenly kick in and cool it down. However, when you look at the GTX cards, 960 requires a minimum of 500 watts. Well, it's a recommended wattage supply you need for the card. The 970 minimum power requirements 500. 980 minimum requirements 500. If you get the overclocked edition, you're talking about 550. You getting my point there? You look at the GTX 980 Ti, minimum power requirements of 550. If you go for the really overclocked edition, you require between 600 to 750, or depending if you go in SLI. You can see exactly what I'm on about. NVIDIA are far better in power consumption, power monitoring than AMD, although I do stand by the fact that AMD are a really fantastic graphics card, but as we know, all the AMDs now are going to be utilising Mantle. There are AMD is going to be bringing out their new not Mantle, DirectX 12, but they are bringing a new version of Mantle out. I'm not sure what they've called it. They're still working on it. There are a few names going around, but I'm not going to bother shouting out because I'll probably get it wrong, so I'm not bothering. But I know they're working on a new system, and when that comes in, that should kick in onto the Fury side. But I can't believe they just remade the 280s and 290s. I honestly thought, yeah, you could have made the 280, the first one, the FX 380, yeah, this is just a remade 280. Yeah, I would have understood that. Then the 290 should have been a brand new card, a new format, new thing. But no, it was a remake of the 290. And the 280 and the 290 were known for really high power consumption. The 280, if you're not overclocking it and you're using a stock, requires a 500 watt power supply. If you're going to overclock it, they tell you at least 600 and above, because if you want to overclock it, you need a really good overclock, but you can't do that on a 600 watt power supply. See, because I got 600 watt power supply, it takes into consideration CPU, RAM, hard drive, whatever other things you got on there, like a wireless adapter if you're using that for your connection to your Ethernet, which I don't. I use a connected cable, and I've only got 8 gig of RAM, and I'm planning to get some more. And I believe what they do is, when it comes to system requirements, they work it on what kind of fan you have to cool your CPU, how much CPU power you use, how much RAM. And it's normally worked on the max amount of RAM, how much RAM you can have on that motherboard at one time. And mine's got 4 slots, and that means I can get about 32 gig. Is it? Oh, no, 16 gig. 16 gig. 16. No, I can get 32 gig because I've got 8 gig RAM in there already. Yeah, it's 32 gig I can get in there. So I can have a maximum of 32 gig. My graphics card I got in there. Say frank's sake, I had the 280 for laugh, because it needs a 500 watt power supply. I need that gig, then you're talking about hard drives. Most people normally have 2 hard drives. One is a normal standard hard drive for what they want, and the other one is a backup. However, you take consideration most people are now using SSDs, so that solid state drive, say around about 250 to 320 gig, and a 1 terabyte hard drive in the back. So that is your system power requirements of 600 watt. So if I was to get a card which was 600 watts, I wouldn't be able to overclock it in my power. But I can saying that, I really am interested in getting the 980. To be honest, I don't like overclocking. I'm just not. After trying to attempt to overclock the 270 I have at the moment, I'd rather stay with stock. I didn't, because the end of the card I have is already overclocked. I didn't realise that at the time, and I was trying to overclock it even more. But to be honest, I reckon I like to stick with stock, because then it keeps the graphics card lasting a little bit longer. I know some people say you could just overclock it slightly, you don't have to overclock it completely badly. I can understand that, but you know, that's what I'm thinking. I just like to keep it as stock at the moment. Talking about CPU, as I said in my previous video, probably I'm going to go for the FX. What I love to get my hands on is the FX 8370. You can get it right now. 8370, because at the end of the day, you know, you got the 8350, but the 8370 is the one above that. It's got the latest, was it pile driver? Yeah, pile driver thing, isn't it? Because Bluez is the old one, pile driver is the new one. Yes, I have to get it right in my head. To be honest, if I had thought about this originally when I went to my PC, I probably would have gone down the i5 line. I should have done that, because I know it's only a quad core, but at the end of the day, it's pretty damn good. But however, I think the reason why I went down AMD is the fact that I used to own a Intel PC, and I must admit, when I was playing, using it, I used to find it bottlenecking a lot. And this was my very first 2 PCs, and I was using the Intel Pentium 4, and at the time it was the best CPU out there, and it just didn't seem to want to perform. It just seemed to bottleneck all the time, you know. I even had a maxed out RAM, and it just didn't seem to do it for me. My second PC I got, because the first one I had Windows Millennium, and that was absolutely crap, and I couldn't wait to get rid of it. Got rid of it, got the Windows Vista Basic, I believe was the next one out, and Pentium 4 again, another nice Pentium 4 CPU, and about a year and a half down the road after having that PC, the CPU burnt out, and I couldn't believe it. And I thought, right. And my friend said, "Oh, well, what you can do now is it's burnt out. It's burnt your motherboard as well. It's not good. So what we can think about is, you know, it's up to you. We can sell you this PC, or you can build a PC with virtually the same kind of specs as this one has, for around about £200 to £250 cheaper." And I went, I'll have a look into that. So I built my very first PC, and I built it with a triple core Phenom, and to be honest, it was a lovely triple core. It was clocked at a 3.1 gigahertz, you know, and it was a really good CPU. However, I didn't do very well because I chose the wrong type of motherboard, and it came all in a bundle. But the problem is, I should have checked the motherboard, because there was telltale signs in the back of the motherboard. I didn't check that. Is when it broke down, I took it to a friend of mine. He took one look, and because this soldering on the back of your motherboard is completely substandard. Virtually what it was, that some of the soldering was hardly any soldering on there, and because of that, it started burning out the motherboard and melting all the other components. So it melted part of the motherboard, and I couldn't believe it. So that put me off that one. So I then got myself built myself another PC. This time I got myself a quad core Phenom. It came in at 266, and literally it was, how can we say, running really fantastic. I mean, really brilliant. And I had this for a good few years. Then I got myself the GTX 540 graphics card. That was never designed for gaming. It was designed for video editing, because it said it on the box. It said it on the reviews. Excellent for video editing. However, it's not a particularly good graphics card for gaming. You can game in it, but most of your games will be on minimum settings to low settings, because it was only designed to do HD video editing, and that's what I originally got it for, because I had the capture card on my Xbox 360. But then I also got into playing World of Tanks, because I watched the video and I started to enjoy these things. And so after 2.5 years and my GTX 540 given out on me, after me using it for about 2.5 years of gaming, but it did well, I decided to get myself this PC. However, as you know, I have had problems with it, graphics card. And I reckon what they had done when I had my PC back, because it looks completely different. When they sent it back to me and I told you about it's all in this apart, it had a lot of dust inside. When I had the PC back again for the last time, there was no dust at all, nowhere. The CPU fan was completely clear. It looked like it was brand new. The graphics card, nothing on it. There's no dust in the box at all. And what made me think that there's a new PC build for me, because my hard drive was at an angle, so it means they rushed to put it back in, and the only place that had dust on it was the front panel of the case. It looks like they took it off the old case and put it onto the front of this new one. So that's why I reckon it hasn't played up for me, it hasn't broken down, because I was ranting and raving saying that I was going to take them to court, and they gave in and give me a new one. But as I said, I'm planning to go for the, if possible I can afford it, the 980. I've seen some which, as I said, is £339 up to £360, and they've had some pretty damn good reviews. So that's what I'm planning to do, and I hope you let me know what you think. If you think I'm going down the right way of doing this, going graphics card, then going on to CPU. Because I don't really want to overclock, because I haven't got a really big power supply. I've only got 600 watts, so I don't really want to overclock it. Do you think I'm doing the right thing? So let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. It does help this channel. Don't forget to check out a few my good old friend Bluez and Twos, and also Tango Alpha Echo. I can get his name right in a minute. Check out those both channels. I'll put the links into the description. They're pretty good lads. And once Bluez and Twos gets his PC and gets Battlefield 4, I will be getting myself Battlefield 4. And I believe myself, Bluez and Twos, and I believe Tango as well is going to be joining in a nice little online play. You never know, we might do a series of PC new gamers online or something like that. Just making a fools of ourselves. Well, as this coming towards the end of this video, I didn't expect it to be this long. I wasn't planning to talk this long. I do apologise. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, it's me, Will, sign off. And please have a good day. Thank you. Bye.
Looks like you're buying your own TV.
This is real nice, Dad. Bonding, good times.
Yeah, I'm giving it my best shot. Come on, we're having fun, right?
You wouldn't know fun if it sat on your face.
Ah, come on.
I mean, why do I have to hold your hand through this whole midlife crisis bullshit? And why don't you stick your nose up Tracy's butt sometime?
Because Tracy doesn't buy cars she can't afford, so that thugs break in our house. Tracy doesn't get kidnapped or destroy my yacht.
Well, that's just because she's too busy getting fucked by dudes to get on TV.
You don't talk about your sister that way.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's true. I mean, according to her Life Invader page, she's hanging out with producers and porno guys this afternoon.
What are you talking about?
Actually, it's all happening right out there.
What?
That boat that makes yours look like a refugee raft? You know the kind of boat, the one that makes a young, impressionable girl drop her pants and spread her legs.
This is the reason you brought me here, isn't it? You fuck. Ah!
Dad, wait! Shit!